I had this interview with somebody who was doing the pleasure blueprint. So whoever hasn't heard Amanda Rose on the, how she discovered herself through that, like she was totally on for this kind of exercises around recognizing what kind of sexuality type you are. Are you somebody who needs more space and so on? But can you say what you usually help women with in this, or what is the background of what you're doing?
I'd say like my specialty and what I'm passionate about is actually reconnecting with that inner guidance, with that source of well-being and aliveness we have in ourselves that I find like lots of us have numbed out. Even like tap back to your prior question on why don't we have energy to like connect with our partners sometimes, or even to connect with our own like self-pleasure practice if we have one. I think this is all linked. I think we like come from like so much conditioning as women about sexuality, and you can just ask yourself the question that's really easy, like what did you learn growing up about women who have a lot of sexual energy? Like what did religion or society teach you? And you have all things coming up, slut shaming, like you're slut, you're a whore, you will never get a partner, like you will be wild, people will hate you, you'll die alone. Like very violent stuff comes up. And we come from a society where indeed, like for centuries, it's been unsafe for women to be tapped into their power. And how do we repress that in ourselves? Like body hatred, like we hate our bodies, like our breasts are not good enough, they're too saggy, like we're too fat, we take too long in bed, we just like too much in our heads, we're broken, orgasms are not for us, it never worked, we give up on ourselves. And we really develop this numbness towards this part of ourselves because it's painful to feel all of that. And also we internalized it as our own fault, like we are broken. And it's like when you think of all the conditioning that we've had around this, it actually makes total sense that we've repressed all of this beauty and this sexual energy because it hasn't been safe. I mean, it's safer right now in a society where it's safe, but it runs down so deep in our lineage that it's not safe to connect with ourselves as sexual being. Like, oh, then you'll run around and like chase partners all the time. In reality, it doesn't happen, but it's beliefs that we have. And because of that, we shut it down. And we shut down and we develop this mistrust with a really important part of ourselves. And as long as we have shame, fear, and guilt with one part of the really important part of our body and our being, it mirrors in other areas of our life. So it mirrors in how confident you are in your job. It mirrors in how confident you are being intimate, not only with your partner, not only with yourself, but with the world, really with reality. Like your level of being comfortable with reality is affected by how intimate you can be with yourself. So as long as you cut here, like at the waist and like not really attending to what's below the midriff, I think you live your life truncated in a way. You're not tapping into your full potential.
Yeah.
And my work and what I'm passionate about is helping women reclaim the power and that lives there, like the source of so much self-confidence and radiance and vitality that lives in our own bodies, just right in front of our noses, basically. But that's the very place we've been told is taboo and is shameful, and it's for sexuality is for others. We perform it.
And it's even so distorted. I'm thinking about all these things that will happen when we put this show out and we use the word sex, and not discarded with some symbols in it, so it's not found by the robots. But what will happen? You get all this dirt thrown at you. So as soon as you get you get all these kind of things where you have to sell sex, where you have to buy sex, but it's already so distorted just having to put it out there or saying it. And also what comes to mind is what you earlier said about it's for us, it's like self-empowerment. And when you say, how do we feel self-empowered? You just have to remember when you met somebody and you fell in love and, how many people noticed you, how safe did you feel in this expression of feeling fulfilled, and filled up with all this energy. So
Yes.
just to make it more at home, for people that are listening, that it's not just words, it's a self-empowerment. It's not about that. We all have experienced that. And we also see all this even, by just having this show on the road here, or we're talking about it and knowing you might not tell your girlfriend about that you listen to that show and that it's an issue for you, or that you're interested. That might be already something that's telling you how distorted this topic is. Pleasure, sensitivity, and so on. So sorry for interrupting you. So you haven't said anything around techniques that you use. So let's get back to that one.
So tools and techniques, how are we talking about now? Yeah, and I will start
talk about, or just to get a sense. I know you're coaching, so you're asking, the women first, but what is it, the practical side, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to start by coming back to the question you asked earlier. I haven't answered around like not having maybe the energy for your partner, and I think it's really related to like a lot of us don't know how to ask for what we want because we don't know what we want. We also being really used to being touched in ways that were not fully consensual. Like most of us have histories of having been exposed to non-consensual interactions. And we haven't learned also sometimes to be penetrated before we were ready, of our body to be touched in ways that didn't feel good. And like we live in such a way, we've been taught that it's just like for us to like deal with it, like basically, and that it's actually okay for us to take that. And how it works, I think, and so it makes sense after a while, your body shuts down. Also from sometimes things that happen in your youth, even if you're in a safe partnership as an adult, where actually it's very easy, like your partner is really open and etc. Like that's where some of these woundings tends to come up, creating a barrier to like really opening up an intimacy. Like how works that really reconnecting to the boundaries in the body. First of all, a lot of us do not know, like we know about boundaries from like, oh yeah, I tell somebody what I don't like and what I don't want. Yeah. That's one level of boundaries. But there's a level of boundary that's much more embodied, which is like being attuned moment to what your body wants, to what your body needs. And that's something we never learned. And that can change. And that's like really about being present inside of yourself. And I think the first step of my work with women is getting present with the sensations in the pelvic bowl, in the pelvic area, noticing what's there. And then there's like two paths, which is like the healing path, which is releasing the tensions, doing the healing, learning to be with the sensations that are unpleasant and letting so that clear out. And I work with the yoni egg. I didn't mention it yet. I work with the jade egg because I think it's a beautiful tool to also create new nervous system connections. So like you really literally rewire your nervous system in the pelvic floor, create like new roads, resensitize the whole area to pleasure. So we work with pleasure as part of empowerment. So what does pleasure feel in your body? What does power feel in your body, in your womb? How can you circulate this energy, this creative energy, like from your pelvic bowl? Like first you learn to feel it, then you circulate it through your own body. So like you have a natural alignment, you start letting it flow. And in parallel, like that's the somatic approach. And in parallel, obviously, like women come with specific goals, like maybe they want a new job, maybe they want to like talk to their partner, like being in the partnership in a more assertive way. Maybe they want to, I don't know, change careers or parent differently. And all this somatic work is basically in service of like them, like going for these desires, going for these goals from a place that's completely aligned, authentic inside, that it's truly what they want. And then that's easeful and pleasurable, which is beautiful. We learn so much that it's hard work to like, I'm like, it doesn't have to be, it can be amazing and beautiful and filled with ecstasy.